Just wanted to do a quick stop here. It says Boscobel, and it's an estate that you can tour. And I believe that's a gift shop there. And you don't have to pay to get in. You can walk around. If you want to take a tour, I'm pretty sure you have to pay. So I want to show you the view from the front of the house facing the Hudson. Take a look at that in a sec. I see here you have to have a sticker to walk in further. Anyway, it's a beautiful house. Highly recommend going on the tour. Love the colors, love the setting. Here at Boscobel. And they have public restrooms here too, I might add, which is good to know. These public restrooms are not always easy to find. Alright, we're going to leave Boscobel now and go into Cold Spring. I just had to have some lunch here first. There's no picnic tables, so ate in my car, but good place to do it. Used to live on this street in Cold Spring. A lot of cute little Victorians. We live down here on the left, and we rented it with the idea we were going to buy the house, but we thought the owner wanted too much. The owner had moved to Baltimore and was trying to sell the house, and it wasn't selling because he was asking a lot. So I don't know what housing goes for now, but it's pricey, I think, for what you get in Cold Spring. All right, let's go look at the downtown, right around the corner. Very dramatic, driving down Main Street, down to the river, and that's where the train station is. Lots of tourists come up here on weekends from the city. I'll talk a little bit more about the vibe that goes on here in Cold Spring. Okay, this is a bigger version of Garrison. Take a look at this like church temple type building here. Some of the town here in Cold Spring. Here shows you the trains. There's one coming at 1:12 going to Poughkeepsie. It's 12:54 right now, so but you never know when Amtrak might be whizzing through. So that's Storm King Mountain right across the river. It's really dramatic. Right at the foot of Main Street and then across the river. So high-level platforms, handicapped accessible. This is looking south back towards Garrison. And they have a overhead pedestrian walkway. So when we lived here, we both worked in the city, and we could come down here. This is before our daughter was born. And you can get your tickets here. We had a monthly ticket. I forget what it cost back then. I'll put on the screen what it is now. It's not cheap, several $100s a month. But you could catch a train from here, an express that made like 2 more stops, and then nonstop into Grand Central in Manhattan, and it was 1 hour and 15 minutes on the express, which is not bad. We thought it was a long commute at the time, but Now my commutes, when I was commuting into the city from New Jersey, they were like 2 hours. So the trains are slower, make more stops. So, and then this road bridge is how you come over. You go down Main Street and then do a jog and then come down and park in the parking lot. So I'll show you some of the sights of Cold Spring, and maybe we'll see a train while we're here. So they indicate that this is where you get on if you have a bicycle that you want to bring on the train. Metro North's good about that. On weekends, you can't bring a bike on a train during rush hour. I don't know whether you can bring it on the train during the week. I think you can. I have. Conductors said it was fine, but it was after the PM peak. So, Main Street Business District is this way via the underpass. You have to go under the tracks. There's no way they're going to let you walk across the tracks because trains come whipping through here, Amtrak trains at 80 miles an hour. So you wouldn't want to get in front of one of those. Typical rock outcroppings of the area right by the station. Looks like it's not open for the season yet, but you can rent kayaks, which I have done once with my daughter. Took it out on the Hudson. As long as you stay near the shore, it's not too scary. We also went upriver, and there's an island in the middle of the river. We paddled around that. So that was pretty wild. So here's the little tunnel you take underneath the tracks to go into the downtown, but we'll go down to the river here first. It's very picturesque. There's a couple of restaurants here. You can sit outside. So as you can sort of tell from some of the architecture, some of these buildings are really old. They've been here like late 1700s, early 1800s, I would say. There's a couple of restaurants, and then the rest is residential. That house says it's for rent. At least one unit of it. And this is the Hudson House. It's a restaurant and inn. The restaurant's very good when I ate there. One time I was up here on a trip actually to my daughter's college, and I was driving back in October, and there was a early blizzard and the roads were almost impassable, and I made it back down to Cold Spring here. I tried to get a room here, but they were booked solid. Other people were bivouacking here during the storm, so I parked the car at the parking lot, and Metro North's trains were still running, so I took the train back down, went all the way into the city, then back out to White Plains where I lived. Finally got home at like 3 in the morning. Very harrowing trip. So they have a little riverside park with a gazebo, and it's a cool place, especially if you're entertaining visitors from out of town to come down here, take a look at the great view. And the river here is a lot narrower than it is further south. Like between Tarrytown and Nyack, it's very wide. The Tappan Zee Bridge goes over at that point. It's like 2 miles wide, plus or minus. I don't know what they're doing over there. If that's for work or fun. So, this is a part of Revolutionary War history. They, when the Americans were against the British, I think, actually put this huge chain in the water across the river to stop ships from trying to go up and down. Isn't that amazing? It had to be huge links to that chain that they put. So it gets a good crowd here. And there's a park looking north on the right side. That's where I was thinking of having a picnic, but I didn't know if it'd be totally mobbed. And you can see West Point down there across the river, which we saw straight across the river when we were in Garrison. Be a Revolutionary War cannon. So that's Storm King Mountain across the way, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a cut in the rock, and that's a highway that runs along the west side of the river, and it's spectacular if it's open. They've had rock slides and different things. I don't see any cars on it from this distance, but let me put the telephoto on and see if we can see any cars on that road. Let's see, looking across the river north. Don't see anything. Don't know whether it's blocked off or what the story is. It used to be a fantastic road, though. Drive along with scenic overlooks. So maybe I'll talk about the vibe here in Cold Spring, having lived here for a year. One thing that you notice is when you live here full time, during the week, it's much quieter, and there tends to be more of a towny type element, a little rougher, I would say. So all the businesses and shops and restaurants, they really live for the weekend when people flood here from all over, and then also from New York City, come up on the train. It's really cute. And we really wanted to live here. And like I was mentioning before, we couldn't come to agreement on a price for the house. And then in retrospect, that was for the best, because it was just too much of a dichotomy between what it was like on weekends when it was just mobbed by tourists, and during the week when it was kind of off. There was something off about it. And despite all the New Yorkers who come up here and, you know, patronize the shops and restaurants, it's not that wealthy of a town. So it's something to consider. Very busy tunnel under the tracks. Now we'll come up on the downtown, or they call it uptown, side of the town. By the way, this is where the old train station is. And they have a busy restaurant. A lot of outdoor dining as well as indoor. No longer used as the station, but it's nice to see that it's being reused. Very popular restaurant. I didn't see the name. Parking for depot customers. I don't know, if you Google Cold Spring Depot, you'll probably find this place. This is one of the side streets parallel to Main Street. Gets quiet real quick. Old building is finally being fixed up. Talking about the different groups that live in Cold Spring, there was a good group of young people who worked in the city, who had moved out of the city up here, tending to be on the artsy side. And I remember one year they organized like a 4th of July thing where they had a live band from Ireland that played here. They had a little stage set up right here by the underpass to the train. So I'm walking the street just because I don't want to get too many people in the shot. And you'll get a flavor of the types of businesses. So there's a fair amount of realtors, and people will stop and stare at those pictures, but then they'll look at the price tag and they'll go, Here, let's walk across and do just that. I'll give you a flavor. Well, there's a lot of reflection here, but all these places are starting at like 1.2 million. There's one house for 750,000, but they're in the high ones. And I see one for 2750 a month. That's a rental. 2 million. That's the thing. Most of the places that are for sale are outside of the town, not so much in the town.
It's still like a popular name, which is like how do
So another view of another one of the side streets, and there's a pub type restaurant. That's where when we lived here there was one incident. It's actually when we were out of town, but we came back and read about like some fight that broke out based along ethnic lines. We heard, we weren't too happy to hear about. Here's another bed and breakfast, the Pig Hill Inn. Cute house on the side street. Looks like a more upscale restaurant here. Catherine's Tuscan Grill. There used to be a ton of antique stores here. I saw one, maybe two. Not quite as many as in the past. Bookshops.
that would scare them
Some apartments above the stores. The Ming Moon Chinese restaurant was here when we lived here. So they have a traffic agent. She's photographing people's license plates. They're going to get a ticket. It is metered parking on Main Street, just to keep in mind. It's nice just parking at the train station. Let's walk down this street. I don't think I've ever actually been down this street, even though I used to live here. I mean, a lot of the houses here are really old. Really local is some YouTubers like to say. With an occasional house painted in modern colors. That restaurant is so popular, there's a wait. People to get in. Let's take a look at some more houses. A couple of solds. Some of these are for Garrison, Terrytown, Rhinebeck, Irvington. Not here. Let's see if these are from here. 3.2 million. Imagine living here. 1.6. There's that 3.2. If it's newer, it tends to be out of the downtown area. Guys on their big motorcycles, they're all smoking foot-long cigars. Real brotherhood. Alright, so that gives you a flavor. Looking up another side street. It's not a huge town. It's actually another town right next to this going east. I'll drive through that. It's picturesque. About the same economics, demographics. Just further away from the train. This used to be an antique store. We bought furniture from there. Just wheeled it over to our house. We were that close. And this traffic agent is busy. It seems like everybody's getting a ticket. That guy who were parked there even parked in a handicapped spot. That could be a thankless job when people get upset. All right, let's go back down to the train station, and then I want to show you a couple other things in this area before we move further up the river. $1,900 on that building. Tell you one thing, downtown Cold Spring is a lot busier than downtown Albuquerque, the biggest city in New Mexico. Just saying something. That's the way it is here on a weekend. Especially the first really warm weather day, with temperatures getting up into the mid-70s here in late March. We'll see if it goes past us before we go down underneath the tunnel. Maybe it was going southbound. Well, rather than take the tunnel, just gonna walk along the tracks here. And that's that kayak place across the tracks. And here comes Amtrak going south. much in. Maybe they're going slower now through Cold Spring than they used to in the past. Maybe just for safety reasons. All right, we're gonna take the overhead walkway to the other side to the car. Mention one other thing that's good about Metro North is that they encourage recycling. And I can't say that is true for New Jersey Transit. At least I never really noticed it. I just hope when they take the materials from the different bins, they don't throw them all together. That would defeat the purpose. Let's take a look at this temple that I saw when I first got here. I want to just show you that. So this is called the Chapel of Our Lady. And the year it was built, 1833. And look at the view it has. Looking out over the Hudson. I doubt it's open, but if it is, we'll try to go inside. Hope it's locked, but one thing is, sound does travel over water better than land, and you can actually hear the cadets like they're having some sort of athletic thing going on over there. You can hear them whooping. So close, but yet so far. Somebody's very nice house right here. Right by the train, right by the downtown, right by everything. Beautiful. All right, let's go back to the train station, get my car. I wanted to show you a couple other things before we move on upriver. So this is just one of the side streets a little bit further from the downtown, south of the downtown, and the houses get really ordinary really quick. There's no quaint Victorian charm here, but I'll show you when we go around the corner what I want to show you. There's one nice older house. And then this is like a housing complex where the regular people live. Anyway, one time we were jogging around town, just sort of going on the side streets just to see more of what there was going on in the town, and came across this area. I believe it was this area. It was fenced off, but they had like signs on the fence that had the skull and crossbones, and it turned out it was an EPA Superfund site. Heavy metals, I think dating all the way back to the Revolutionary War, possibly. And they dumped all the stuff here, but maybe they've cleaned it all up. I don't see those signs. It's not like it's been improved. The fence is knocked over there, but at least that's been cleaned up, hopefully. I walked down this street before, but just to show you, as we drive back to the downtown, I'm going to show you the town right next to us really quickly. And this is the other area I wanted to show you. This is the town of Nelsonville, which is just east of Cold Spring. The two are one and the same. Sort of has a little downtown, mostly residential. Kids all go to the same high school. called Haldane. Not sure the significance of the name Haldane. Village of Nelsonville. Anyway, it is a lot of cute homes. And then we're back in the village of Cold Spring. He said we looked long and hard at this town. Could we live here? It would be such an escape from New York City. And then this is looking back down Main Street, leading down into the downtown.